I'm Lisa Haysha here at the Soul Blazing Sanctuary, and I'm here to interview Bill Myers. And Bill, I'm going to read your resume. It's fantastic. Bill Myers is an accomplished musician. Myers has produced, arranged, composed, and orchestrated music for some of the most prolific artists, which includes more than 45 top 10 singles. His credits read like a who's who of American music: Justin Timberlake, Babyface, Whitney Houston, Neil Diamond, Michael Jackson, Donna Summers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Madonna, Rod Stewart, Brian McKnight, and many more. If you want to know more about Bill, you could go to billmyersmusic.com. So hi, Bill.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Good.
Good.
That's a pretty impressive resume.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm here to ask you a few questions about your legacy. So what's the single best advice you've ever received?
They have these things that they always say you can quote from the book of The Godfather or whatever, but in my case, it's my dad. He was my best friend in the world and one of the best men I ever knew, and he told me that my word was my bond, and it didn't just apply in business, it applied to my family and friends, and I think it's a good, none of us are perfect. I've made my mistakes, but if you can show the people that you work with or the people in your lives that your word means something, especially in these difficult economic times. I can tell you the music business has kind of completely changed, and we used to have all kinds of scales and things that would be sort of in place for us. And now, when you let someone know that there's a budget and this is all you've got to work with, and that you're going to make sure that they get paid and you make every effort. Fortunately, I have a number of people I've worked with over the years that believe me, and it happens. And I think it's very similar in relationships too.
Oh, absolutely. And you have a very great reputation out here. I know a lot of people who have worked with you, including myself, and it's always a joy.
Great.
So, yeah. So what is the biggest self-growth hurdle, weakness, or setback that you've had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Well, geez, there's many, but you said the most, and probably patience was the most difficult. I would get upset thinking that I had more talent than other people. It'd be, and you kind of fall into the dark side,
Yes.
as opposed to thinking about what can I do to improve myself. Why do they have it instead of me? And that's the wrong way to go. There's always more you can do to improve yourself. And we have a dear friend in common by the name of Pasquale, who Italian born, who used to say, "Bill Meyer, you make coffee nervous." So
how do you overcome
patience has
that?
been something I've had to work on through the years.
How did you overcome it? How are you working on it?
Part of it has to do with age and experience, and another large part of it had to do with having children. I've got two amazing sons, 7 and 5, and I think you start learning true patience when you have children, as you well know yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so was there any trick that you did while you were working with some of the biggest stars, or when you felt like, oh, I'm contributing more than they are, or whatever you were feeling in that moment? What did you do in that moment to get over that hurdle?
I believe, a career has an arc to it, and if you're putting enough good things out, not only working for other people, but always reminding yourself that this is not where it ends, that this one credit is not going to make or break me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you can, don't get yourself bottled into believing that only one circumstance is going to be what saves you, or what propels you.
Yes, because I have many creative clients who always say they get frustrated sometimes in the
Sure.
creative process. So they're like, what do I do when this happens or that happens? So
Yes, and I sympathize.
Yes.
But if you plant enough good seeds, some will grow.
yes.
And I think that's the real key to it, is you don't give up. You have to have honest self examination on what needs to improve or change, and you can never lay it on the feet of just one circumstance with somebody. So I think in your mind you have to say, okay, I'm going to get through this, and I will double my efforts in other areas so I don't get pigeonholed.
Okay.
I don't get stuck in traffic here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what does it take to be in the top 1% of your field and be happy?
Well, the key is be happy, of course.
Yes.
I know people that are workaholics, and geez, a lot of the artists I work with, came from very troubled childhoods and hyper developed one skill, which of course led to the success they had, but then they weren't happy. So amidst this, and it's again same thing for life, it's balance, finding balance inside of it, and it's a tricky thing to do. But
how do you do it?
Use your time efficiently, but make sure that there's time for people in your life that matter. And I find sometimes that the biggest growth I do as a songwriter comes when I take some time away from it, and I have more life experiences to draw from. So I think that's a key, And so again, in short, just finding balance is you as much as you need to put maximum effort out. Use your time efficiently when you're doing it, but also leave some time for some personal growth.
Absolutely, that's what I teach. Always get away from something sometimes, because getting away, you'll actually work smarter rather than harder when you're actually doing the project.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, so one last question. What do you want your legacy to be?
I'll tell you, I've had a lot of success in records, and being an artist myself, I was fortunate enough to be Grammy nominated. And so I've got things that I still smile about that were done 20 years ago. In fact, I think you came to one of my sessions when we had one of those. I want to accomplish more in film. So from a work standpoint, I'd love to leave myself on a great film that survives me. But amidst that, again, back to balance, I want people to remember that I was a caring friend, someone they could trust, count on, and that I help my children hopefully get to a better place than I'm at. And that's sort of an analysis seen in totality as opposed to just one accomplishment. And harder to accomplish, but that would please me if I could accomplish that.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I think that's wonderful, and I've known you for many, many years, and I do think you are accomplishing that. You are one of my dearest friends and closest friends, and someone who I count on. If I really want great work done, and I refer you all the time because I know that you have integrity and you're fun to work with.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.